Hey everyone, it's Ashlena. Welcome back to my channel. It is the end of the year, and what a year it has been. I feel like this was probably the most exciting music year that I've ever had. Concerts, vinyl purchases, artists inviting me to concerts, bands reposting things, finding new bands, chatting with musicians, doing interviews for the first time. It's been a busy year on this channel, and I have only the subscribers to thank for believing in me and knowing that this is what I want to do forever. This has always been my dream. It probably didn't start as being a YouTuber, but it did definitely start wanting to be a Much Music VJ. Yep. That was a goal. But honestly, I just love being able to step away from my full-time job, from being a mom, from being a wife, and spend time by myself finding new music and falling in love with new bands and going to see them live and just remembering how exciting music is. And I think I lost that for a couple of years, so I'm stoked that this year was beyond epic, and I know next year is going to be epic too. So let's get started on my top 10 albums of 2024. And if you're interested, I did do this last year. And it's funny to see what my top 10 albums were last year versus this year. So if you're curious about last year, go check out that video. A lot of albums came out this year, you guys, and it's very, very difficult to put them in a specific order. But there was one clear winner. And I did think I was going to have an issue with number 1 and number 2, because last year I'm pretty sure I put my top 2 in the first position because I actually couldn't decide. But this year was actually quite easy for me. And I'm pretty sure you know who my number 1 artist / band was of 2024. Not surprising. Now listen, the reason this is my number 1 album of the year is because every song is amazing. There is not a skippable song on this album. And to be fair, a lot of the other albums that I'm going to mention are also non-skippable, but I feel like there was no question that this was my favorite album of 2024. I was so lucky to see this band twice this year, which is insane. I flew to Pomona with my husband and spent a couple of days there just to go see The Warning, which was incredible. Got to meet a ton of subscribers. You guys can go check out my concert vlog for that. And I got to see them in Toronto and meet them for the first time. And honestly, it didn't disappoint. It was such an epic show. There was a concert vlog for that too. And I had the best time reliving listening to this album live twice this year. And I get to do it all again in February of next year when I'm flying to Mexico to see them live, which is going to be absolutely insane. So let's just say my favorite song is still Escapism. I don't know why, but that song just speaks to me. But obviously, the last song you hear from The Warning is your favorite. So if you haven't checked out The Warning yet, please, for the love of God, go listen to Keep Me Fed. Go listen to Error. Go listen to Queen of the Murder Scene. Finally got that hung up. Makes me so proud. That's my double signed Queen of the Murder Scene vinyl. They signed it at the bottom here, and they signed it on the vinyl itself, which is fine because I don't need to spin it. It looks better there. And go listen to 21st Century Blood, and I feel like I'm missing one. Escape the Mind, and the single Narcissista, because it's not on an album. Go check out all those albums. This is a band you do not want to miss because they've been around for 11 years now, and I only found them late last year, so hop on the bandwagon while you still can. There's always time to become a part of the Warning Army, and big shout out to the Warning Army for supporting this channel. You guys made this channel blow up so fast, and I owe you so much of all my experiences this year. You have no idea. My second album of the year, which is crazy because it literally just came out, but I have been listening to it nonstop. It has been a scary album to do a first time listening to, but come on, Linkin Park from Zero. This has become one of my favorite albums. I've listened to it nonstop. I'm stoked to go see them live next year for the first time with Emily. I've seen Linkin Park live so many times. And honestly, it was really hard to kind of decide between The Warning and Linkin Park, but because of Cut the Bridge, I was like, it's not one of my favorites, but I still like it. So that kind of just shot The Warning up because there isn't a song on that album that I'm like, I don't really like that one that much. I like every song on The Warning, but this is so good. And if you haven't listened to it, or you're one of those OG Linkin Park fans who are like, Chester's not in the band anymore, I don't want to listen to them, you're missing out, because this is a great album. Think of it as listening to another band for the first time, and listen to it. You will love it. Emily's voice is iconic. Mike sounds so good. And if you're interested, I have a full album reaction to this on my channel, so go check that out. Now, unfortunately, I do not own the vinyl for this number 3 spot because it doesn't exist. That's literally the only reason. And it's funny that it doesn't exist because the album is called Exist Volume 1 and it is from the band Listelle. I can't tell you guys how many times I've listened to this album. It is so beyond amazing that I'm just completely obsessed with their music so much, and they're the nicest guys in the world. I was very lucky to interview them this year, and it went so well, and they were so sweet and so kind. So if you're interested, you can go check that out. But I did find their EP from their old label that was still available, and this is called Delicate, and it's upside down, and it's a beautiful album. So if you're interested in listening to a new rock band, I always say they kind of sound like Alexis on Fire, but like more deep. So go listen to Listelle. They're amazing. They're going to blow up and it's going to be epic. All right. So my number 4 top album of 2024, Bring Me the Horizon, Post-Human Next Gen. I fell in love with this album, and it was the first album I've ever heard from Bring Me the Horizon. So you can imagine listening to this band for the first time and this being the first album you hear. Addicted. I did go back and listen to all of their albums, all of them. Every single album they've ever done is on my YouTube channel where I react to it. So if you're interested, you can check that out as well. And yeah, it's just so good. The only thing I'm a little upset about is this vinyl came with a issue. There's like a sticker stuck on the actual groove, so they're sending me a replacement. I feel like Limousine is my favorite song off this album. It definitely made my top 10 for my Spotify Wrapped. But yeah, this is just so good. I just don't even understand how people could not fall in love with this album if you're into this kind of new metal sound. But this, not only is it beautiful, it's just so good to listen to. It just puts me in a great mood, and it's definitely one of those albums that I'll love forever, and one of those bands that just surprised the shit out of me. So way to go, Bring Me the Horizon. Now, I know a lot of people are like, this is odd. She does Aurora Tuesdays, but where's Aurora? How is Aurora not her number 1 album? Listen, she's number 5, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you why. On my first listen, I didn't really like a couple of songs, and it really took a long time for me to get comfortable and start loving these songs, so that's why it's not higher on the list. But now that I've seen Aurora live and listened to this album over and over and over, it honestly has become one of my favorites. But because of the journey it took me to get there, I can't put it in my number 1 spot. It's not the one album I always go to listen to. The albums before this are constants, but this one I listen to so much. But I'm just in awe of this artist. I'm in awe of her voice. I'm in awe of her personality. And I really hope you guys come back and join me for every Aurora Tuesdays that I do on my channel. I have a vlog of the concert I went to if you're interested in checking that out. This is the second show of an artist this year that gave me VIP viewing tickets for their show. And to be fair, I just reached out and asked. This one I just reached out. I had to see if it was an option, and it worked out, and I'm really happy it did because it was one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. Okay, next up is a band that I do not own vinyl for, but it is in the mail, and it's Greywind. Antidote. Okay, this album is so amazing. And I found Grey Wind randomly on TikTok. I fell in love with their song In Autumn. I reacted to it, and the support that they gave me through their socials just by reposting and sharing stuff that I've done, and just honestly, I've never seen so much support from one artist slash band in my life. They post things with my videos in them without even letting me know and tag me in them, and it makes my heart so happy. They were kind enough to do an interview with me a year after finding them. And honestly, one of the longest interviews I probably will ever do, but one of the most fun interviews I think I ever had, because the stories they have were just so incredible, and they've gone through so much to get where they are, and I'm so proud of them. Now, just a warning, I'm filming this on Saturday, December 7th, and this video is not going to come out for a while, but on the 9th, I believe, but on the 10th of December, I will be seeing Grey Wind for the first time, and I couldn't be more excited to meet these two people, Paul and Steph, in person, and just thank them for what they've done for my channel and see them live. And it's going to be the last concert of the year for me, and I'm just so excited to see them. So if you haven't gotten a chance to listen to Grey Wind, they are phenomenal. Steph's vocals are absolutely insane. Their melodies are beautiful, and I highly, highly, highly suggest it. But I would definitely start with their album Afterthoughts. It came out years ago, but it is still my all-time favorite Grey Wind album. I don't know if anything will top it. Even though Antidote is so iconic, Afterthoughts is still my favorite. I just love that album so much. It's just the melodies, the harmonies, the work they put into it as like a duo, brother and sister. It's just mind-blowing how talented they are. So please go check out Grey Wind. Okay, in my 7th spot, we have Miss BillieEilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft. This album was beautiful, okay? I have no complaints about it. Although, still, not every song was a winner for me. There's even one song I still can't stand. It is a beautiful album. If you're noticing this vinyl, it is the Black Friday Record Store Day release of the isolated vocals. I think if I listen to this, which I have yet to do, it will probably move up on my list. I'm just ending my year with actual albums, no different versions or anything like that. But I have a feeling this is going to be insane. So I'm going to do a full album reaction to Billie's isolated vocals. And I hope you guys stay tuned for that. It will happen sometime, hopefully this month or in the new year. But this, I had to have it. I had to. An isolated vocal vinyl of Billie. It's going to be stupid. But yeah, I think my favorite song on this album is still going to be The Greatest. I think it's just so beautiful. It showcases her vocals in a way that she's never really done. And I saw her live this year, and it was just so beautiful. I went by myself, and I feel like a lot of people were at that show by themselves because tickets were so hard to get, but it was so well done. It was so beautiful to just see so many people having the best times of their lives, crying, laughing, clapping, singing off key. It was just such a good show. But yeah, this is going to be a good one. Fuck, I don't even know where that is. Where's my Freeze the Fall CD? All right, so my number 8th album is Freeze the Fall's Thrones. I just did a Patreon only video for my CD collection. And number one, my Thrones CD was not in that collection, and now it's not sitting here. So I have a feeling it has fallen behind something. So I'm going to look for that because that's disappointing, and I'll find it. It's fine. But yeah, Thrones, Freeze the Fall, Canadian band, super young kids. I don't care if people get mad at me saying they're kids. They're freaking kids, and they're absolutely incredible. I highly recommend you check them out if you like The Warning, if you like rock music in general. They're fantastic. My favorite song, it has to be Daughters of Witches. It's just so good. But they did come out with a new song called VHS, and I'm obsessed. So I'm really excited to see what these guys do next year. I think they're going to be huge one day. I just feel it in my bones, but I'm also manifesting it for them because I want it so bad for them, because I can tell they want it so badly just to make music for the rest of their lives. And if they continue on the route that they have with Thrones and VHS, they're going in the right direction, because I will be a forever fan no matter what. I'm always here to support them. I love supporting Canadian bands. It's my passion, and I really, really can't wait for them to just do humongous things with their talents. So go check out Freeze the Fall. Okay, number 9, Blink-182, One More Time. I know this album didn't come out this year, but part 2 did, so it counts. I don't have part 2 on vinyl, but it honestly was so good. But there was, a song or two that I was like, not my vibe. But honestly, Blink-182 is just like, I'm an OG fan. So there's just no possible way that I can't love them, regardless of what shit songs they come out with. So, and I have to kind of give props to the Blink-182 community because it is still my number 1 most watched video. And it's crazy to think that a random Blink-182 reaction just blew up in views. It was like the last thing I expected because you just never know what people want to watch. But this album was beautiful. Part 2 was wonderful. And I got to see them live again this year, and it was so good. I saw them last year. And my favorite band, Alexisonfire, opened for them. And so it was just so amazing to see them twice within probably a year. But it just feels like you're going back to a Blink-182 concert as a kid again. And that's how they make you feel. And that's how it should be. It should be nostalgic. It should be fun. And that's exactly what it was. So Blink-182, forever in my heart. I think this one might surprise people, but my 10th album of the year is Ariana Grande's Eternal Sunshine. I don't own it on vinyl just because it's expensive and it's not something that I desperately need. So maybe one day I'll get it. But honestly, I'm not the biggest Ariana Grande fan, but I thought this album in particular was absolutely stunning. Her voice sounded good. The production was amazing. The lyrics were good. This is the album that I think is the best album she's gonna ever do. Let's be real. I know for a fact she wants to do acting and stuff like that, but I've listened to all of Ariana Grande's music and not a fan of a lot of it, but this album, it just fit her. It was perfect. And I really hope if she does come out with more music eventually, it's down this same route because it's like she found herself, and the vibe of this album, the R&B vibe of it, works so well for her voice. So this album was gorgeous. I don't know what my favorite song would be though. And obviously, Yes and is not a great song. Let's be real. I think The Boy Is Mine is my favorite just because it was so good and reminded me of Brandy and Monica. And then boom, she did a version with Brandy and Monica. And I was like, thank you. It's just so good. It's so good. I loved it. Now, you know what? Every time I do this top 10 albums of the year, I have a feeling I'm missing something really important, like an album that's really important. And then someone in the comments is like, well, what about this album? And I'm like, so I tried my best. I'm sure there are other albums that I loved, but I'm going to stick with my top 10 this year. Okay. Now I want to do some honorable mentions. I found a lot of bands this year, and it's just been such an amazing ride finding new bands that I absolutely love. Like, I own all of Sleep Token's discography. Their songs have been in my top Spotify Wrapped list. I've become a mega fan. I saw them live, you guys, and it was iconic. I went by myself. Worth it. So there's a lot of bands that I really, really, really love that I just found this year. And I'm very thankful because when they come out with new music, they'll most likely end up being in my top 10. I'm sure there are a ton of other artists that I found this year that I loved, but I wanted to just kind of put Sleep Theory and Sleep Token and Spirit Box on that platform because those are the 3 bands that I listen to constantly. Okay, so I want to talk about one more thing, and it's all the concerts I've been to this year. I didn't realize how many I went to, but then when I look at the list, I'm like, oh, it's not that much. I could do more. So I'm going to walk you guys through it. So first concert was in January. I saw Madonna. I went with a friend. It was great. The friend, Mike, wanted to see Madonna, big fan, and had no one to go with. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go. We didn't have the greatest seats, but you know what? It was a great show. But at least I can say I've seen Madonna now twice. And it was a good show, and who knows if she'll ever tour again. So I'm just thankful that I got to go. So after Madonna, I saw The Plot in You, which is how I found out about Sleep Theory and Invent Animate. And Beartooth was the main act. I'm not the biggest Beartooth fan, so we'll just not talk about that. But going to see The Plot in You, I decided to do my research on Invent Animate and Sleep Theory. And I'm so glad I did, because Invent Animate and Sleep Theory have become literally my favorite bands that I found this year. It's just been a ride, and I'm just so proud of them, and I can't wait to see what they do next. Then I saw Sleep Token. Amazing. It was like going to church, but like a church of music, not a church of religion. Okay. Then I saw Melanie Martinez, which was so much fun. Her fans are so loud. I don't think I've ever heard people scream like that, and I was wearing earplugs, but Melanie Martinez was a fun show. That summer, I also did I Prevail and Hailstorm. The only reason I wanted to go to the show was to see Hailstorm live, because I ended up selling my Evanescence tickets that had Hailstorm and The Warning on the ticket. And so I was like, oh, I still kind of want to see Hailstorm though. Luckily, my husband's a big I Prevail fan, as am I. So seeing them together was pretty awesome. Then I did Green Day and the Smashing Pumpkins opened, which was so good. I've never seen the Smashing Pumpkins live, so that was really great. But I also have not seen Green Day live, which was also great. So double whammy, can't complain. Then I did Blink-182, where Alexis on Fire opened. And there's just something about seeing one of your favorite bands in a venue of like, I think it was like 46,000 people. And you just never expect to see something like that. Like hearing a crowd that big sing songs from this Canadian band. It was just insane. So that was something I'll never forget. Then I saw BillieEilish, which was so good. Billie Eilish live is nuts. Then I did The Warning in Pomona, California. Spent 3 days with my husband. Had the best time. Jet lag is real. Then I got to see Nothing But Thieves. Their management invited me to the show. I brought a subscriber with me. She came all the way from New Zealand, which is insane. And we had the best time. I even brought my 3-year-old daughter, and she had a great time too. Then I saw The Warning again in Toronto, where they debuted Apologize live for the first time. Be jealous. Then obviously last week I saw Aurora, and next week I'll be seeing Greywind, and my last show of the year will be Greywind, and that's okay, because I've been looking forward to hearing Greywind live for over a year now, so I'm stoked for this show. Stoked. And that concert vlog will be already out by the time this video comes out, because I always put this video live at the end of the year. So yeah, that was my concerts for 2024. In 2025, I have Linkin Park, I have Spirit Box, and I thought I had one more. Linkin Park, Spirit Box. Oh God, Mexico. Duh. I'm flying to Mexico with my husband and my daughter, and we're going to go see The Warning, but we're also spending time there as a family for vacational purposes. So that's going to be insane. So February will be The Warning, and then I believe Spirit Box is in March. I could be lying to you. And Linkin Park is sometime in summer in August. So concerts are coming up. We'll see how I do next year. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're interested in me doing a Spotify Wrapped recap, let me know. If you want to see my most played songs, I can run through them. I'm pretty sure I did that last year too. You guys have been just incredible with my channel, and I want to thank you. I want to thank the patrons for all your support. I want to thank all the subscribers for staying subscribed, even though a lot of the music I listen to is insane, and just supporting this channel, supporting me. And it's just been a whirlwind of a year, and I'm so thankful, but I'm also very proud of myself, because this is a lot of work as a mom, as someone with a full-time job, and a wife, of course, dog mom. Just life is so busy, but if I can only spare some time for myself, and it's doing something I love, that's listening to music and editing videos and making thumbnails and talking to all of you, I'm okay with that. So I'll see you guys in 2025.